I'm Bobby, and today we're going to be making a Indian recipe called kitchari. The first thing you'll want to do is soak your lentils for at least 2 hours. And they'll plumpen up a little bit for 2 to 8 hours, so you could soak them overnight, and they'll plumpen up and look like this. Before you soak them, you'll want to give them a good rinse until the water is clear. I'm going to turn this on. Too far. So I've just rinsed the mung beans, and now I will measure out an equal amount of rice, which would be a half a cup of white basmati rice. And the rice will get rinsed as well until the water runs clear. Mung dal can be found in any East Indian or I believe Mediterranean kind of grocery store. And specifically you want the mung dal that are split mung beans as opposed to the whole mung beans that would be green and round. That's good. A tablespoon is good. So we'll just add a tablespoon of oil and let that get warmed up before adding the first two spices that will be hing and cumin seeds. Once the oil is warm, we'll add just 1/8 of a teaspoon of hing, or also known as asafoetida, and about 1/4 teaspoon of cumin seeds. This is the hing powder or asafoetida that will probably come in a container that looks something like this. It can also be found at an Indian grocer. We'll add now about a teaspoon of turmeric, 1/8 of a teaspoon each of clove, cardamom, and cinnamon, another 1/2 teaspoon of ground cumin, and a 1/2 teaspoon of coriander. What we're looking for here is for the spices to get a little bit of a darker color and become more fragrant. So about 30 seconds to a minute, we will add the mung dal and the basmati rice. And you'll want to stir the rice and the mung in with the spices and the oil until the rice and the mung are fully coated with the spices. Okay. And now I'm going to add 4 to 5 cups of water, and the amount of water that you add can vary depending on how soupy or how more thick you like your kitchari to be. Adding about 5 cups of water creates a pretty soupy consistency of like a rice and lentil soup. Then you'll turn the heat up to a higher temperature until it boils. When it does come to a boil, you'll turn the temperature down just to a simmer, where you will leave it to simmer for about 45 minutes. Stirring occasionally. So I usually add the garlic after the water and the rice are cooking. So you can press your garlic through a press or just mince it. Here's a trick for peeling your fresh ginger. You can just use the edge of a teaspoon or any spoon in order to peel the skin off without getting too much or without losing too much or any of the actual ginger, which might happen with a knife. After the rice and the mung are in the water cooking is when you'll add about a ½ inch to an inch of fresh ginger and 1 clove of garlic if you like. At the same time that you add the ginger and the garlic, you can go ahead and add a few grinds of fresh black pepper. If you have a tendency to like things spicier, you can add the black pepper at the beginning of the process, but this will bring out the heat of the pepper. And adding it at this point will make it a little less spicy, and you can go ahead and add any kind of salt, just about 1/8 of a teaspoon or a few good grinds. So the pot is just about coming to a boil, and to prevent this from overboiling, just when it starts to bubble like this is probably when we'll begin to turn down the heat to a simmer. And add a lid. Once the kitchari is simmering and the lid is on it, we'll wait about 45 minutes before we take it off the heat, and check in about 25 to 30 minutes and give it a mix and make sure it's not sticking to the bottom at all. So this is your finished kitchari, and it could look anywhere between, I like it about this texture, or you could add another cup or so of water to make it more soupy, or let it cook longer and it would become more thick. ½ cup of rice and ½ cup of mung with these amount of spices, so this recipe used with 4 to 5 cups of water will be at least enough food for 3 to 4 meals.